Siyana with the demand of image manipulation, fashion and beauty photography.
Good morning, my name is Siyana. I'm going to talk about the demand of image manipulation in beauty fashion photography. Images don't represent reality, they construct it. The photographers choose what to leave or in and out of the frame, what subjects to photograph and what light to use, how the subject in front of the camera is going to behave. In addition, image manipulation is a tool that allows them to alter the image after it has been taken. Many believe that image manipulation was born with the release of Photoshop on February 19, 1990, but in reality it has been hand-in-hand with photography since the beginning of the 19th century. The first records of image manipulation date back from 1840s, when photographers used to spend hours in the darkroom playing with exposure, combining negatives or airbrushing and painting on the negatives to smooth out skin and remove blemishes. The image you can see on the screen is one of the earliest examples of combination painting by Collective Vision Symposium in 1858. With the advance of digital technology, however, the process of image manipulation became much easier and more widespread. Image manipulation is mostly practiced in fashion and beauty photography. It is now possible to alter an image so much while still keeping it realistic that it has become one of the most controversial topics in our modern society. Is retouching ethical, and why do photographers practice it? Retouching has both its good and bad sides, which we'll discuss further. This presentation will explore the controversy surrounding the use of image manipulation in fashion and beauty magazines and the positive and negative sides of its applications. First, we will look at the history of image manipulation and the reasons why we retouch. Second, we will discuss the effect manipulated images have on women who read fashion magazines and why it can be dangerous. And last, we will explore why there is still a demand for image manipulation in education and the future of image manipulation. In contrast to painting, photography is a relatively realistic art medium. However, the photographer has the power to manipulate the final photograph using light, angles, and framing. A photograph captures what is in front of the camera, but this is not always a true representation of reality. It is reality captured from the photographer's viewpoint. In support of this argument, in an essay in 1903, Edward Steichen wrote, "Every photograph is a fake from start to finish, a purely impersonal, unmanipulated photograph being practically impossible. Apart from the fact that a photograph in its most pure version is manipulated in some way by the photographer, there are other ways to alter it, such as image manipulation, also known as retouching." Retouching was invented shortly after photography in an analog age. It consisted of removing a motion from the negative and using paint and airbrushes to alter the photographs, hence the term airbrushing. Dodging and burning were also popular techniques for manipulation in the darkroom. The image you can see on the screen is a mark-up of Richard Adel's printer from 1981, where he has explained to his printer which areas he needs to darken and lighten to create a perfect image. The methods of image alteration were vastly criticized and referred to as unphotographic by skeptics such as Roger Scruton. He believed that with retouching, photographers pollute the ideal of their craft with the aims and methods of painting. However, according to Jonathan Friday, retouching is a wholly photographic technique, the use of which enhances the aesthetic significance of the medium. Why do photographers choose to use painter techniques on photographs? Cameras, especially digital ones nowadays, capture way more detail than we can see in real life. A person's short-term memory doesn't capture tiny pimples, facial hairs, or wrinkles, but the high-quality camera does. Originally, photographers would use image manipulation techniques to get rid of those tiny distracting details and to guide the eye to specific details and manipulate the viewer. The next four images are very good examples of image manipulation in the mid-20th century. The first one is an example of airbrushing by George Orwell from 1931. The second one is an example of erasing elements and creating more abstract imagery on the cover of Vogue, January 1950 by Erwin Blumenfeld. The third one is an example of cropping markup and the final image which has been altered in exposure. And the last one is also an example of a literature album in which the background has been fixed and the wrinkles on the garment have been fixed as well. With the development of image manipulation, airbrushing, combination printing, all methods influence for art and painting, photography has evolved into something more than just capturing the truth. It has become an art form on its own in which photographers can choose to reject representation with the aid of new tools. And this is exactly what has been happening in fashion magazines in both analog and digital ages. In the following part of the presentation, we'll discuss web retouch images in fashion photography in particular. In an interview with Rachel Feller, Maya Feynman, the curator of Faking It Manipulated Photography before Photoshop, explains, retouch magazine imagery was always a huge part of magazine illustration. Part of a magazine has to do with a certain suspension of disbelief. They're trying to create a world that's more perfect than the world we live in. Fashion and beauty photography are not meant to represent truth and reality. Their purpose is to sell a lifestyle, a dream, something that doesn't necessarily exist in the real world. With the advance of technology and the launch of Adobe Photoshop, image manipulation became more widespread and easier to perform. With such powerful software, photographs could be manipulated to a greater extent, which resulted in highly perfected imagery and the cover of fashion and beauty magazines. The problem which arose was that the software allowed retouchers to remove blemishes, even out skin tones, enhance facial features, and slim down bodies while still keeping the images highly realistic, hiding all traces of retouching. The following example we can see on the screen is a beauty image by world-renowned retoucher Julia Kuzmenko. It can be clearly seen that the image has been manipulated when the original is provided. The results, however, are very realistic and can easily trick the eye. It has become a common practice to color gray hair, remove wrinkles, make women extremely slim, swap facial expression, and so on. It is believed that retouching is one of the causes of the unrealistic, unattainable beauty standards that affect society. In her book, The Beauty Myth, Naomi Wolf criticized the retouchers for making women on the covers of magazines look deceivably young for their age by airbrushing their wrinkles and coloring their hair. This controversy spreads beyond the limits of photography. It's a social issue. Young girls buy fashion magazines and look at the perfect-looking models with flawless skin and bodies and want to look like them, often not realizing that those images are not real. Social comparison theory, first proposed by Festinger in 1954, suggests that people establish their personal identities to compare themselves to others. This theory suggests that when an individual compares themselves to someone who they consider better, this comparison has a negative effect on their self-satisfaction. According to Festinger's theory, when young girls compare themselves to the perfect models in magazines, they seem less attractive, which can lead to body dissatisfaction. This is one very important reason why manipulated and perfected imagery in fashion and beauty magazines can have a negative effect on women who read those magazines. There is not enough research on how retouching directly affects body dissatisfaction in women, but the fact that nowadays Photoshop is a tool which allows creative directors and retouchers to create this perfect imagery and publish in a magazine is enough to conclude that there is some connection. An example of an image which can result in body dissatisfaction in women is the Ralph Lauren campaign from 2009, where the retouchers have slimmed the model's body so much that she looks disproportionate. When such imagery is published in major campaigns, it certainly sends the wrong message. Manipulated images are everywhere. A woman may choose not to read fashion magazines, for example, but manipulated imagery is all around us, on billboards, shop windows, on the trains, TV, even music videos, so there is no way this imagery could be avoided. According to Naomi Wolf, if magazines decided to feature real individual women of all sizes and age with no retouching, advertisers would withdraw their investments from those magazines. The unattainable beauty ideal is what feeds those beauty industries. Those companies' goal is to make the consumer's desire to look perfect, like supermodels, and buy beauty products, and supporting these unrealistic ideas is a way to achieve that. Magazines need to feature perfect images of women, or otherwise the advertisers would just withdraw. Although not scientifically proven, many opinions online state that women read fashion beauty magazines for the perfection and illusions they find in there. If they want to know what a real woman looks like, they can always look around or in the mirror. But they feel the need to make an upward comparison, as mentioned earlier in the social cultural theory. They'll always strive for being better or for being perfect. Body image and self-satisfaction are very complex issues which won't be solved if retouching is no longer practiced. Lately, more and more publication and clothing companies have launched no retouching editorials and campaigns, including the French Elle cover shot by Peter Lindbergh in 2009, the Flair cover editorial in March 2015, as well as the Kate Moss and Keira Knightley shoots for Vogue Italia Intimate magazine. Even though these women posed with no makeup and there was no retouching, the photographers manipulated images using soft lighting to sculpt their faces and flutter their features. Converting the photographs to black and white also makes them look less flawed and less destructive. Another example of the no retouching trend is the major company American Eagle, which released a new collection featuring models with no retouching at all, even leaving a bruise on one of the model's legs. However, the models they have used are slender, beautiful tanned, and lit in a way that would make them look even better. Are those images an accurate representation of the truth? If photographers stopped retouching images, either virginity was going to become more attainable. Advertisers and magazines still choose skinny, beautiful, and radiant girls to go on the covers. Girls that look better than the average woman, that have better body and weigh less than the average woman. It has become fashionable to deny and dislike Photoshop, and advertisers are taking advantage of this just to sell even more products. The best example of this is a series of Dove Real Beauty campaigns. The evolution video demonstrated what Photoshop can do, and it sure can do a lot. But it also showed that they took an advantage of, they took a girl, which was a regular girl, and changed her into a supermodel, which already happens in the fashion industry. Advertisers prefer to use a model who already has the body and looks desired for the campaign, so such drastic changes are not always necessary. That also stand against beauty standards and Photoshop, but their real women ads are fairly retouched. Images in fashion and beauty photography are produced for consumption. They need to be perfect and aesthetically pleasing. Excessively retouched images are problematic, this is unquestionable. But even if photographers eliminate retouching from the workflow, the issue with unrealistic beauty standards will remain unsolved.